Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning. As you heard, my name is Michael Geist. I'm a law professor at the University of Ottawa, where I hold the Canada Research Chair in Internet and E-commerce law, and I'm a member of the Centre for Law, Technology and Society. I appear in a personal capacity representing only my own views. I've been quite critical of Bill C-18, but that criticism does not stem from doubts about the importance of a robust, diverse news sector. However, I believe that the bill as currently constructed raises significant concerns involving the free flow of information online, freedom of expression, Canada's international copyright and trade obligations. If left unchanged, I believe it is likely to cause more harm than good, including the possibility of blocked news sharing or indexing on internet platforms. There's a lot to discuss, including the bill's implications for an independent press, I think the distortion of competition, dependence on foreign internet companies, suitability of the CRTC administration, and how the emergence of generative AI renders the bill, which does not cover services like ChatGPT, already outdated. But with limited time, I'd like to focus on 5 issues and propose some fixes. First, the bill is fundamentally about mandated payments for links. Indeed, last week, Mr. Ripley acknowledged to this committee that without linking, companies like Google and Facebook are not digital news intermediaries under the bill and therefore fall outside of it. Supreme Court of Canada has warned that creating liability for links could impair the way the internet functions. Yet payment for links are at the core of this bill, and it doesn't matter if it's an aggregate charge for all links or a per-link fee. The harmful impact is the same, including the prospect that the same payment for links principle be applied to other policy objectives and the foundation for sharing information online placed at risk. The solution? I believe Section 2, Sub 2 should be removed, and the definition of making available of news content, which is a requirement to be a DNI, limited to reproduction, which I think is how most Canadians would understand the notion of use of news content. If Google or Facebook publish full text of articles and run ads against them, let's talk about ensuring fair compensation. But if it's just links, often posted by the media companies themselves, it should fall outside of the framework. Second, the definition of eligible news business in Section 27 should be revisited by limiting it to outlets that actually produce news. Government started by supporting the sector several years ago with tax measures based on the creation of qualified Canadian journalism organizations, defined through CRA criteria. Bill C-18, as you know, expands on that approach to include broadcasters, who the PBO estimates will receive 75% of revenues from the bill, as Mr. Menzies mentioned. But the House Committee added another eligibility criteria based solely on holding a CRTC license. This expansion, I think, raises trade concerns, given that only Canadians can obtain those licenses, and turns the bill into a subsidy program without regard for production of actual news. Third, this bill violates copyright norms by suspending limitations and exceptions from the bargaining process in Section 24. This runs counter to the foundation of Canadian copyright law and may violate Article 10, Sub 1 of the Berne Convention, which has a mandatory right of quotation that expressly includes newspaper articles. The provision should be removed. Fourth, my friends won't like this much, but the inclusion of the CBC within the Bill C-18 framework is a mistake. In a world where Canadians often encounter paywalls or increased misinformation when seeking out reliable news, the CBC should be welcoming anyone that extends its reach and accessibility of its news content for which the public has already paid. Indeed, given concerns about public broadcasters competing with the private sector for ad dollars, to have it also compete for DNI money makes matters worse. Section 28 should be amended to make all public broadcasters, federal and provincial, only eligible upon the enactment of relevant regulations. Finally, fifth, there are better ways to do this, including a fund model that served as the basis for the Shattered Mirror report that launched much of this public policy debate. A fund based on the Canada Media Fund model to support actual journalism with mandated contributions that are based on ad revenues for the large internet companies would address concerns about mandated payments for links, the independence of the press, and the myriad of eligibility concerns. Perhaps a way to do that would be in the Section 11 exemption order provision in the bill, which could be expanded to give the CRTC the power to exempt based on contributions to the fund. There's much more to discuss, but I'll stop there. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. It seems our